So, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video here on the Freak Flyers YouTube channel. And today we're continuing the Skydiving 101 series by talking a little bit about angle flying. This video is going to be similar to the video about free flying because, the progression onto becoming a good free flyer and becoming a good angle flyer is quite similar. The difference is with free flying, there's actually important records, sequentials, big ways, and there's also competitions. So it is a little bit different. Main goals of angle flying is always going to be to have fun, not to set a record or to go to competition. So without further ado, let's get started. So what is angle flying? Well, simply put, it's a form of free flying where you manipulate the air in free fall with your body to create movement. It's called angle flying because to achieve this movement, this dislocation, you must position and balance your body at a certain angle. The steeper you go, the less distance you will cover and you will travel. And using your limbs, you can control how fast you are going by, making yourself a little bit bigger, making yourself a little bit smaller. I'm not going to get into too much detail about body flight in this video since this is not the topic at hand today. So let's talk a little bit about the story of angle flying. Well, in the 80s and 90s, free flyers started to experiment with flat tracking. Basically, one person would track and a group would follow. When free flying became more popular, the leader would actually start going on their backs in order to see the formation come together and make adjustments to the speed and fall rate as necessary. This is basically what tracking jumps or tracing jumps are in their essence, and they are basically as flat as it gets. Very little angle, if any at all. Now, for all of you who have already jumped in an angle jump, you know how important it is for the leader to be able to see the ground in order to fly perpendicular to the jump run and avoid tracking into oblivion, of course. But in the old school days, no one gave a f. In the early 90s, a man by the name of Marco Tiesi came up with a new concept. What if we could create some sort of airfoil shape with our own bodies and actually generate lift in free fall, like some sort of human wing? Well, he took this idea and invented a new discipline called atmonauti. People doing atmonauti jumps, the so-called atmosphere navigators, were doing jumps where the goal isn't crazy fast moves or insane speeds. The goal of each jump is to create bigger and bigger static formations and fly as far as possible for as much time as possible. Atmonauti can be flown in any angle in between 10 and 45 degrees, and the angle is measured by comparing the position of the torso to the horizon. Atmonauti soon became a movement, a religion, a way of life. It's changed skydiving forever, and it has a special place in my heart, as it has been a concept I have always loved ever since I can remember, and the idea of the freak lifestyle truly is something that will never die out, at least in my heart. Now, the goals of the atmonauti jumps are simple: to generate lift, to fly as long as possible and as far as possible in formation. The ultimate achievement in atmonauti is to take docks and make grips. The skill required to accurately match to someone else's speed and fall rate, and the way you feel when you take a grip perfectly is really something undescribable. This is basically where you will start. This will be step 2. Step 1 being, of course, getting your A license. Atmonauti is really fun for all experience levels, as long as not a lot of inexperienced people are involved in the same jump. It's also a fun way for a recent A license to take a breather from all the belly solo jumps, which can get boring. You can get an atmonauti course right after you get your A license, as long as you keep it belly to earth until you have an audible altimeter and a free fly friendly rig. Now again, just like free fly courses, the atmonauti course will be a multi-level course with coaching and theory, both on safety and on body flight. There are 2 basic positions: front monout and back monout. Basically, belly to earth and back to earth. There is also the side monout where you're flying on the side, especially when taking multiple docks at the same time, and of course my personal favorite, flying feet first or stand up or head up, whatever you want to call it. Atmonauti is the best way to learn angle flying, and as you increase speed and angle, you will eventually go to the next step. Some people love atmonauti and they pursue this style of flight, while others chase the speed and the thrill of coming down fast. That's when the new school of angle flying comes in. To the eyes of the new school angle, the steeper you go, the bigger your dick is. Same thing applies to how fast you go. Now, the theory behind all of this is that if you can comfortably keep up with a formation going 400 km per hour, almost vertical, means that you're a badass flyer. Now, please do not quote me on that. because that's not a concept I agree with, but I do see the fun in going fast. This new school of angle flying does not tolerate anything under 45 degrees, and you better tuck in that pilot chute because the speeds are insane. It's a fun way to go from 14,000 feet to 5,000 feet in under 40 seconds, so I won't say anything else about this. Now, you can probably tell that I'm not a huge fan of the new school hardcore power angles, but I am, however, a huge fan of the new school dynamic angle jumps. Ah yes, dynamic angle jumps. Now, what are these dynamic jumps? Well, pretty simple. Take a simple, boring angle jump and spice it up. How, you ask? With turns, dives, stalls, carves, slot changes, anything and everything you can imagine, and just a little bit more. Now, if you're doing dynamic things on your angle jumps, like slot changes, turns, speed and angle variations, it's a dynamic angle jump. If you decide to include transitions into belly or vertical, like stalls or dives, it's simply a dynamic jump, and of course you gotta plan your airspace accordingly. Now, as you do more and more camps and angle events, you will start doing bigger and bigger formations. Maybe your group of friends like crazy speeds and crazy angles, maybe your group of friends enjoy taking things slow, flying slow, and taking docks. Whatever your preferences are, it's always important to not get too distracted in planning the fun part of the jump. It can be overwhelming with the amount of possible variations in a single angle jump, so it's important to not forget about safety, i.e., who is coming out of jump, how many people, their skill level, each person's slot, a separation sequence, etc. I have seen one too many times a group of maybe 2 experienced jumpers and one jumper who has maybe a dozen angle jumps get together and plan a safe jump, only to have another and another and another experienced jumper join in, and once all is said and done, what used to be a chill flat track became an 8-way angle of doom with 7 stalls and 5.6 dives. And guess who's going to be left to be last out? The 100 jump wonder, and he will do anything to get to that formation, and this usually results in Friday freakout material. Now, this is not to say that angle flying should be only focused on safety and all that stuff. Of course, we gotta have fun. What I mean to say by this is that sometimes there's so many things we can do in one jump that we completely forget about the safety part of that jump. So, of course, safety, 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 all that stuff. Now, with this being said, that's basically it. If you followed all these steps, you're probably flying as leader on a crazy-ass dynamic big way. So, congratulations. Don't forget to always keep the atmonauti legacy alive in your heart and always keep shredding. Now guys, this video is a little bit shorter again because getting into angle flying doesn't have as many things as getting into, for instance, free flying where you have competitions, all that stuff. But again, if you have any questions or complimentary information you would like to add, you can do so in the comment section down below. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And as always, I'll see you next time.